This is called Lights, Camera, Confidence, building a video campaign, bringing together different disciplines and seeing how they work well together. My background is in video production, so I've worked in media agencies such as BBC, Channel 4, at the Olympic. When I can, I like to bring those two skills together. First of all, what are the fundamentals of creating a digital video? Some really basic tips in order to get your message across. You don't need anything special. Mobile phone, that's good enough to create engaging content. What makes a good social action video? You really don't need money to become a video maker. First of all, I want you to pinpoint or say what is the sustainable development goal that you most care about. And for those of you who do not know, the Sustainable Development Goals are 17 goals that were created by the United Nations that the world needs to tackle by 2030. Pick one that you're passionate about and let that be your kind of North Star. Now I want to ask you, what are the local causes you care about? Anything which is personal and local to you. These big causes like global warming are great, but they are massive. So break it apart and think, what is the individual thing? It's got to be something which resonates with you, because that is going to be the most powerful thing. If you do them correctly, they can become viral. You can't make something viral. Viral is something which is very organic. It either happens or it doesn't, but you can definitely increase the likelihood by making it more shareable. Scripts are really important. So on your phones, what I want you to do is put in order how you might structure your video. What goes first, what goes second, third, and then fourth. So introduction and cause makes sense. Then why is it important? Perfect. How to get involved? Call to action. Okay. And all of these are really essential. First of all, the introduction needs to be spot on. It's the most important part of the whole video. This is when people will either tune off or stay engaged for the entire video. Why is it important? Well, it's great that you've managed to catch someone's attention, but why is it relevant to them? Not the world, but to them. Any video campaign you make has to be ridiculously personal. It has to connect with the individual. How can I create a video which creates a level of empathy, which makes you feel part of something bigger than yourself? So it's all very much you orientated. Next is you got call to action. What this means essentially is, what are you asking the audience? Make whatever you want them to do obvious and also easy. And last of all, how to get involved. You've donated £1 or $1. What can we do beyond that? Can you join a network, a union, a support group? If you make sure you have these 4 points, even if you've made a very small video on your phone, it's going to have the necessary things to influence and create change. Why I like this one is, on the surface, it's a very shareable video. It's about saying, look at our current world. It doesn't make sense from a child's perspective. Why does it make sense from an adult point of view? And then the ask here, they're not trying to make you sign up or donate. They're just trying to make you change your perspective. So remember, the ask doesn't have to be something you can hold on to. It can just be about a thought or an impression or an emotion that they leave you with. If you follow those points, you'll be able to make a really nice 1-2 minute video. I would recommend keep your videos short. A minute is more than enough to grab people's attention, change minds, and to kickstart next steps. A lot of you are here today because you want to make a video, you want to make change, but you might not know how to, or you might not feel confident. You do not have to do absolutely everything yourself. Writing the script, recording the video, being on camera, editing. You can either do one and get other people to support you. A good website that I've been using lately is called Fiverr, and that's where you can pay people a very reasonable price to help you write scripts. When it comes to recording the video, you can use your mobile phone, which I'm sure a lot of you already know how to use. Being on camera, well, practice makes perfect, but also, do you have to be on camera? Could it be an animation? Could it be a slideshow? Could it be a voiceover? And when it comes to editing, you can also edit on your phone, which I'll be going into a bit more detail later. Now for the fun bit, presenting on camera. How do you make people care? So you've got to be more than an expert, Greta. How dare you? Now, if any of you saw this, Greta is phenomenal. She is so passionate. When she talks, you are captivated. You are mesmerized by what she does. You feel her pain. And that's all you need to do. If someone can see your emotions, those emotions translate and go to them. You can provoke an emotion in someone just by showing it. But I think a good rule of thumb is that being on camera dilutes the message, so you have to up it. If you're normally a 5 in terms of passion, go up to an 8. It might seem a little bit over the top, but trust me, on video, it will translate a lot better. Once I record something, I let someone else watch it, and rather than watching the video, I watch them and see how they respond. Are they totally entranced? Are they looking around? Are they get distracted? And it will let you know how much they connect. The next one is delivery. Great being passionate, but if you're well passion and you have no aim, you sound like a crazy person. Martin Luther King Jr., he wasn't just passionate, he knew how to deliver. His speech has stayed with us for generations and probably will till the end of time. And that's because the way he paced his voice. I have a dream. I have a dream. He used repetition. Whatever point you're trying to make, keep saying it. Do it in different modes where people understand. When people are watching your video, you want them to focus exactly on what you want them to leave with, not on the fact that you've got a twig in the background, your voice is a bit crackly, or there's a lodge of a leaf on your head. You want them to focus on you. What do I mean by that? You have to believe in what you're talking about. If you do not believe in it, how can you expect anyone else to get behind you? So people, with every fiber of your body, they believe you. And the best way I find to do that is write a script, but read it, chuck it away, and then speak. The more you speak from the heart, the more authentic it will sound. How do we actually film and record? Not everyone has a DSLR camera or a really expensive recording team, but thankfully you can do it just on your phone. You should always film for the platform you tend to show on. If you're doing Instagram, TV, or a Facebook story, portraits, okay. Those aren't normally the biggest platforms. YouTube and Vimeo are probably the ones where you want to get most traction. 9 times out of 10, getting a little stand or even a couple of books is the best bet. You can buy a stand for your phone for a couple of quid on Amazon, or just a couple of books to prop it up. I like to use a tripod though, because you're filming for a long time. You want the camera to stay in place, particularly if you're doing lots of jump cuts. Otherwise, it can look a bit jarring. Horizontal is best. So your phone like that. If it's like this, that's the best way. And your eyes, try to always look at the camera lens as well. So look at that thing there, not the screen, because otherwise your eyes become a little bit cross-eyed. It's just about what's in focus. The camera does this thing where it goes sharp, blurry. And that's because your phone has an inbuilt autofocus. And that can be not great when you're recording and you can't always see your phone. On your phone, if you go into camera mode, and when you're pointing at someone, if you push your phone down like this image shows for a second, on an iPhone, it will say AF/AE lock, or an Android, it will just be a circle or a square. And what you're doing there is you're telling your phone, this is what I want you to focus on. Stay locked on this. And as long as your phone stays static, so it's not moving, it's going to be fine. If, however, you're moving around, you're going to have to keep refocusing. The best tip I have is I have the camera facing this way, so I actually can't look at myself. And that way, there's nothing to distract me. If I was filming the other way around, I'd put a sticky note on the screen, and that normally keeps the focus in order. Next bit is lighting. So what can we do to make sure we have the best lighting possible, particularly if our phone isn't the best in low light conditions? Outdoor light is ideal. It's because it's perfectly surrounds you, is what most indoor lights are trying to replicate. Pick the time carefully. And this brings me on to the next point. What is the best time to record? Is it midday? Is it 2 p.m., 7 p.m., 11 p.m.? Because the sun is always changing, I wouldn't always recommend that. And that's because the sun is quite intense depending where you are in the world. But it beams down on you and you can get shadows under your eye and you look a bit sinister. Uh, What you can do is think about golden hour, midday, when the sun is rising and it's just about here and it hits you. And what it does is it will illuminate your whole face, it will brighten them out, and it will stop you disappearing. You can also do it in the evening as well. Early evening, early morning is when you're going to get the best light. And you normally have about 2 hours of pretty consistent light before it changes a lot. Dusk or dawn is better. The light is softer. Yes, thank you. I would say 11 a.m. is a good, safe bet. You're looking for when the sun is not quite at its highest. And rather than beaming down on you, it is beaming at the side of you, and that will illuminate your face. Now, why did this image come out bad? The most simplest reason can it change it. The lights behind them. Yes, like that. This is the most simplest thing you can do that makes one of the biggest impacts. Now, if you are, say, stood or sat and there's a window behind you, that window has more light. The camera is going to be drawing information from the background, resulting in you being a silhouette. All you need to do is before you start filming, think, where is the light facing me? Can I look at the window and have the camera? I would face the window and film this way. And that way, my face will be nicely lit. Sound. Now, sound is arguably the most important rule to follow out of all of them. And with that in mind, what are some of the things we can do to get better sound quality? The sound quality is peanuts. It's bad. So what are some of these simple tips we can do to get better recording sound? So Kata says, would you recommend captions as not everyone has the sound on? Yeah, absolutely. Captions are good for sharing virally, particularly on platforms like Facebook where it starts playing before you've even clicked on it. YouTube creates captions automatically, but they're not always great, so it's worth going over them. I always try to make it as accessible as possible, particularly if you're doing things for a social cause. You don't want to be a bit of a hypocrite. They all listen to everything. So you might be recording a video and it's quiet out, but it's not. So what you can do to resolve this is do a sound test. Record for a few 30 seconds, playing back, and then listen. What can you hear? Are there things you can do to minimize? Can you shut all the doors? Close the windows, turn the fan off temporarily. These things are small, but they make a big difference. And if you hear a helicopter or an aeroplane go over your head and it's not that loud, trust me, it's going to be really loud on your phone. And this is why you can use additional mics. You can use your hand to cup it to make sure the wind doesn't blow into it. Bad sound is probably one of the worst mistakes you can do when creating a video that you actually want people to watch. Now, one of the things that I suggest is recording about an arm's length. If it's further than an arm's length away, then the sound quality on a phone tends to be really bad. If it's too close, however, it does a thing called peaking. That's when the sound's too high and you lose data to get the best sound quality without an additional mic. Whoever said project your voice, I like that one a lot. It's not shouting, it's just projecting, talking extra clear with a little bit more volume. Quiet space, yes. Just find a quiet space. And if there's someone talking in the background, say, excuse me, do you mind? Your video will last a lot longer than their conversation. I have a lapel mic. Lapel mics are great. If you can afford one, they're the ones that clip onto your shirt there. But if there's one thing you do not want to skimp costs on, is probably sound equipment. It'll become in the most useful. Visual hotspots. Where does your eyes look first? Where does your eye automatically focus? And this is called composition. So think about when you're setting up a shot, are there things that the eye will be drawn to? If it's not what you want people to look at, change it. It's called a rule of thirds. So if you see on this image, this person is positioned to like 1/3 of the screen. and the other side is negative space. This makes it more aesthetically pleasing for the viewer, but it also helps draw the person's eye to them. You don't want the image to be too busy, but you do want the image to be captivating. So keep that in mind. Background's important, make it relevant. So my top tips I want to leave you with is phone orientation. This way around, I'm not going to say what direction that is because I'll get it wrong, but this way. Lighting, make sure that you are facing the light and the light isn't behind you. That is the best rule imaginable. Sound quality, film about an arm's distance away and make sure you're in a quiet space. Please. No one wants to listen to bad sound quality. Framing, learn about the rule of thirds. Use a tripod, get it nice and steady. See this picture of Malala? She's got about a thumb's distance above her head. That's a really good amount of negative space in order to make it breathable and not too overpowering. Background. Make your background relevant to what you're talking about and also clear. You do not want to have distracting stuff. Keep your background simple. Video editing. If that is the case, I recommend starting off with a mobile editing platform. Power Director is really good for Android phones. iMovie is good for iPhones, but Adobe Rush, that one is on both platforms and it's really good. It also links up to Premiere Pro if you ever want to expand and start using more professional software. You only need simple cuts to make a good video, transitions. I know watermarks and I use it all the time. Different scenes, not just talking to camera. If you can have more shots to cut away to, that makes it more interesting and more engaging for the viewer. How would you go about promoting a video once you've made it? Keywords are really important because of how the internet works. Make sure those keywords are in all your descriptions. You also have two options. One, do you post it on YouTube and then try and get as many people to watch that video to increase your views? Or you post it on every platform you can imagine, YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, Instagram, and just want people to view the content, not necessarily focusing on the views. Each platform prefers their own content. If you are interested in working with us, get in touch. Divergentthinking.uk, send us an email at admin@exceptionalindividuals.com. You have all been an absolutely fantastic group. If any of you do go ahead and make any videos, I'd love to see them. Always happy to give feedback, point you in the right direction, and answer any further questions that we didn't have time to answer today.